Good morning. My name is Paul Mueller. I'm the managing director of Mueller Pye and Associates CPA with offices in Loveland, Colorado and Katy, Texas. Today, I wanted to spend a few minutes with you with many of our Colorado clients and property owners to talk about what to do with some of the property valuations that you've likely received in the mail the last week or two that are showing some tremendous valuation increases, particularly for people's homes. So if, like most folks, you probably received something like this card in the mail. This is from the Larimer County assessor. This is for a particular property located here in Estes Park, Colorado. If you live in another county of Colorado, you may have received something similar to this, depending on how your particular county assessor handles notifying you of these annual increases in valuation. So here in Larimer County, it comes in the form of like a postcard here. It's a two-part form. If you want to protest your valuation, which we'll look at in just a second, the bottom half of this card can be torn off, and it's a postcard. And basically, it's a very simple process to check the box as to why you think your value is too high. There's a little line there that you can maybe write in some short, obviously some very short or brief information, sign it, and send it in. If you look at the other side of that pull away part here, this is the side that with the mailing address, you put a stamp on it and then you mail that protest in. That's not my particular preferred method for submitting a protest, and we'll talk about that procedure here in just a few minutes. But the other side of the card is the part that shows your valuation change for the year. In this particular case, for this particular home, the prior assessed value for the home was about $607,000. And on here, it shows the proposed value for 2023, which this value will be used to determine the taxes you'll pay in the spring of 2024. The value jumps to $833,000, and it shows an increase here of $226,000. That represents more than a 37% increase from the prior value that the taxes were based upon. And it shows down here that based on that new current value, the estimated taxes that this homeowner will owe in the spring of 2024 is estimated to be about $4,770. With that 37% increase, that amounts to about a $1,300 increase in the annual property taxes that this homeowner will pay. And certainly we're hearing other folks seeing valuation increases of 40% or more on their homes. So there certainly is an incentive now more than ever to undergo or to try to protest your particular valuation to see if you can't bring that number down a little bit and save yourself some dollars in taxes. So the way to go, the way to that I'm going to show how to protest the valuation for this particular home is if this website, www.larimerassessor.org, that's the place to start. And that site looks like this. So here's the website for the Larimer County Assessor's Office. There's your the website address, larimer.gov/assessor, where you go to. And on this site, there is the section on how to protest. But before I go there, one interesting feature that you might find helpful is what they call this value change heat map. And let's just look at what that means. And this is for a portion of Loveland. Here's downtown Loveland. Here's Lake Loveland. You've got Boyd Lake over here. And so what this heat map shows is what areas of town have seen the largest increases in value compared to other neighborhoods. Yellow is the hottest area. Those are the areas that have the highest, are seeing the highest increases in valuation. Blue is the lowest. So you see some of these areas over here, maybe unimproved type properties, haven't gone that much in value. You know, If you live in a home that's just west of downtown Loveland, that seems to be a super hot area right there. There's a lot of that area that's in yellow and red. Um, I'm not sure that this really helps you any other than maybe to, they say misery loves company. So maybe you can see if you're in the company of some of the people that live in this particular area. But the heat map may show you where the hot spots are for your particular community. And you can then click down here at the bottom to see particular towns and neighborhoods to see how your neighborhood compares perhaps with some adjoining neighborhoods. So then for the protest, we talked about you can mail that postcard in and just simply be done with it. On the assessor site, they do list 8 ways to protest your valuation. And one of them, of course, is by mail. And we just looked at that a little while ago. There's other ways to schedule a in-person appointment or a phone consultation if you want to do that. There, you can drop by the assessor's office. There's an office in Loveland and the office in Fort Collins to drop off your information. There's a drop box where you can drop your property protest form into. But the one I'm going to show for purposes of this call is this online protest tool. So when you go here, you put in the account schedule number, which, by the way, that comes from the postcard that you got. You'll have an account number here that starts with an R if it's a residential property. You'll take that information and you'll put that in here. Let's just put in this property number, and that begins the online protest. In the interest of transparency, this home is the home that my daughter and son-in-law own here in Estes Park. I'm using them as the guinea pigs to illustrate the process here for their property. So it'll show your property here with the valuation for 2023 and certain factual information about your home, the style of the home, the square footage, the basement square footage, and whether that square footage is finished or partially finished or unfinished, the size of your garage, your acreage, your lot size, and the year that the property was built. So it'd be important for you to go through here and verify this information to make sure it is all correct, because that may be a condition that would allow you to argue for a lower value. But let's assume all this information is accurate and it's correct. The next thing that the online tool allows you to do is choose your comparables that you want the assessor to consider in perhaps redetermining that value of your property. And there's a couple of options here. There are comparables within your subdivision. Those would probably be the most pertinent because typically homes in a subdivision are going to be built similarly in terms of style or year or price range. There are 100 comparables in a larger area in a neighborhood. And of course, here in Estes Park, neighborhoods can be pretty big and wide ranging. And then the 39 properties that the assessor used in determining their valuation. So if you want to look at the comparables in your neighborhood and see, hey, did the assessor maybe look at the wrong properties, or do I want them to look at specific properties? For purposes here, for this illustration, I'm going to click the 24 comparables that are in the Carriage Hills subdivision that my daughter and son-in-law have their home. So again, the top line is going to be your property with all these comparable or all these factual items listed here. And then you can scroll through all these other properties, looking for properties that are kind of, typical in square footage, typical in basement, typical in lot size, to see if you can find a handful, maybe 5 or 6 comparables that you would want the assessor to consider in perhaps redetermining your value. So, you can look at a property here, the value is 687, square footage is about the same, but they don't have a basement. And the lot acreage is similar. They've got a very small garage. Chances are you wouldn't want to pick this as a comparable because it's not comparable. But you look at some other properties here. Here's another property on Ramshorn, comparable square footage. Basement's a little smaller, but comparable. and it's finished, and the lot size is just a tiny bit bigger, and the value there's 713,000. That's 120,000 less than the value my daughter and son-in-law are looking at right now. So you know what? I'd probably click that box. I'd look down here, look for any others, which don't appear to be a whole lot. You know, maybe pick this one here because there is a finished basement. Maybe another one here. Here's basement's pretty comparable. Lot size is a little bit bigger. Maybe I would choose that one too. Anyway, you know, try to go through here and find ones that you think work in your favor. And when you're done, then you can click the continue button. Then you've got this page where if you know of other properties that are sold that aren't listed on that comparable page, maybe you have a friend who's a realtor that can get you some other information. You can put in those property numbers here to say, hey, look at these weren't on the comparable list, but look at these properties when you're reevaluating my property. You also need to come in here and put in what you think your estimate is. So let's just say we think the estimate really should have been 700,000, not 833,000. You can put any number in here that you want to. One thing that's important to understand is if you're basing your value or you're looking for other sales that might argue for a lower value, all of that market sale data has to be on or before June 30th of 2022, because the assessor is evaluating the property values as of July 1, 2022, and they do that every even year. So it's a 2-year process that they go through. So we know that during the second half of 2022 and even leading into 2023, we've seen the Fed increase interest rates, which has had an impact on raising mortgage interest rates and has had kind of a dampening effect on home sales and home price selling prices of homes. But you can't consider that post July 1st, 2022 information because it's not pertinent to determining the value as of July 1, 2022. So yes, we've seen some decline in home prices since July 1, 2022, but it's not pertinent to this particular exercise. That may become pertinent when the assessor goes through this process again on July 1, 2024, but it's not pertinent for this purpose. There's also the opportunity to upload some photos. So if your home has a certain condition that you think argues for a lower valuation, let's say you still have that pink ceramic tile in your bathroom from the 1950s. Perhaps that dated style of bathroom, picture of that might indicate that that's a condition that requires you to argue for a lower value. So anyway, you can upload some pictures there if you want to. Finally, here under the reason and description for protesting, you can indicate what your reason is. Again, if you have that pink ceramic tile bathroom, maybe it's a property condition issue that you want to type in here as to why your value should be lower, or you think your property is overvalued. You might want to type in here based on the comparables you've chosen. You think your property value is too high. You have up to 1,000 characters to type, so you can't write a novel here, but you can certainly provide some insight that you would like for the assessor to take into account. So we just type something in there. We'll confirm all this information. And then what it says here is your protest is not complete until you come down here, check the box, fill out this information, and formally submit the protest for the assessor to consider. You have until June 8th. Today, the recording I'm making today is May 8th. So you basically have 1 month until June 8th to go through this process and submit this protest, whether through this online feature or by mailing it in to at least you take a stab at trying to address these particular values. I hope this information is useful to you. If you have any questions, we encourage you to give us a call at our office in Loveland. That phone number is 970-667-1070. We'll do our best to provide some guidance and information and try to answer your questions there. But we encourage you to take control, take charge, and see if you can't help work that number down. And we wish you a lot of luck.